Well, it's been a very bumpy couple of days on the Isle of Man, and it's sort of coming to its peak, I believe. But let's find out all about it now from the Met Office at Ronsley, and Adrian Cowin's joining us. I mean, every now and again, Adrian, I like to do interviews with you about storms, and sometimes you say it's not that big a deal, but this one's made it to the interview stage, so I'm taking it it's been quite a rough one.
Indeed, Paul. Thanks for getting in touch. This Storm Ciara is a bit of an unusual one. And it's larger than the last storm that came into the British Isles to affect the Isle of Man, which people may remember was Storm Brendan. Storm Ciara was spotted even sooner than Storm Brendan, so early warnings were issued because it was going to be a larger beast and it was going to last longer than Brendan. Brendan swept in, did its business, swept away, but Ciara was going to arrive and hang around for a lot longer. And indeed, its impact could be felt for a couple of more days yet.
I mean, there's been flights cancelled. We've got some great pictures, by the way, you sent us this morning, and we can see some maps also in a minute. But, I mean, at the time of recording this, we're just a few hours off high tide, right? So it's more to come.
Well, yes, indeed. This is the other difference about Storm Ciara. This is arriving at the same time as fairly high spring tides. And south to southwesterly severe gales will cause a storm surge, and with Ciara in particular, it's caused up to 70 centimetres of extra height on the sea because of the storm surge. It's also driving big waves between 4.5 and 5.5 metres in general, and indeed some of the models we've seen for the Irish Sea gave us an alarm because they were reaching 6 metres high running up the Irish Sea. Hence our concerns and an amber warning for coastal overtopping being very significant around parts of the Isle of Man, both on the high tide on Saturday night and the high tide that's coming up later this morning on Sunday.
The usual suspects, what, Guernsey, Douglas Prom, Laxey, I mean, is that sort of places as usual?
Absolutely. The northern end of Douglas Promenade, Castletown Prom, Shore Road, Russian, all those sorts of locations for today. Yesterday evening, also clobbered the coastal impact onto Laxey and Ramsey. So everyone's had a taste of Storm Ciara on the coast, but also on the land with some powerful gusts recorded.
So what's the outlook now? How long until it's passed?
Well, not too far away now from the cold front. The cold front is significant because it's the last belt of heavy rain, and indeed there's been a mighty amount of rain as well as Storm Ciara, as well as the 65 to 75 mile an hour gusts. Now this cold front is marking a significant change. Not only does the rain clear, but the wind veers from the southwest to a westerly gale. Now a westerly gale is a better bet for the Isle of Man, especially here at the airport, where it puts the gale right along the runway so flights can get back to normal again in and out of the Isle of Man.
Because you've had a few cancelled, yeah?
There were some cancellations on Saturday evening in particular because it was a gale force, or severe gale force, crosswind, a south-southwesterly crosswind. It was just out of limits for all aircraft operations for the evening. This morning, thankfully, there's less flights on a Sunday. The Manchester's been able to go out and is on the way back. And we've also got the sight of an EasyJet to Liverpool coming in later on this morning. So things will get back to normal because of the crucial veer in the wind to a westerly. The westerly, though, has got a possible impact for the next 2 days in the Irish Sea. On the Lancashire coast, and that's important for our friends in the steam packers and the Ben McCree because a westerly gale at Heysham is a real troublesome beast.
Well, thanks for telling us about that. Now, finally, I mean, we now know that the British Met Office named some storms. The Irish seem to be leading the way because obviously whoever gets it first gets their naming rights. Will the Isle of Man ever get that opportunity?
Well, strangely enough, last year I was in contact with UK Met Office colleagues, and you know what? They said there is a chance that one day the Isle of Man Met Office will get the opportunity to name 1 or 2 storms.
Have you got any names in the pipeline?
We had wondered about June.
Ah, brilliant. Well, thanks very much, and we'll let you go. And overall, has it been a worse start to the year than any other?
Not particularly. It's not unusual to get a couple of severe gales in the wintertime, of course, and over the several winters that we've been covering the forecasting and the news with you, Paul, we have seen severe gales and storms as bad as this one, and in fact I'm old enough to remember that we've had worse than this.